Hi, Andy Henderson here from Forward Thinking. I'm your Sherpa guide, and today we're talking about being more amoeba, building a winning culture by looking at the properties of the amoeba and copying them. Saying far-fetched? Well, listen, let's talk you through and let's share this. It's the first time I've shared this really, but it's been something on my mind for about 6 or 7 years. I often thought I was barking mad with this concept, but the more I think about it, the more I just think, no, it's absolutely right. And this concept worked for us to build a winning culture. In the business I last ran, we grew revenues, profitability massively. We built a winning culture. Most of it, the lion's share of it was great. There always are problems with odd members of staff and little things we needed to work on and stuff. But by moving more from a hierarchical structure to an amoeba-like structure, it really worked. Let me just give you a bit of an example though. Like back in the day, one of the things that, and we seem to be on a run here. Like yesterday, I talked about one of the biggest mistakes I made in business. This was another one, right? So I like to, in my head, I like to see things in boxes. I like to see things separated and siloed and all laid out in front of me so I can see individually what each component is doing. And when I became MD, to fix a certain problem that we had in our technical team, we had 3 or 4 different types of technical people in our team. And excuse me, and what I did was I needed to separate them all out. So we made their role profiles and job descriptions and everything super separated. We made them all quite siloed, all quite hierarchical, and it kind of worked for me because I could see it on paper. I could see it all sort of marked out, all everyone in boxes. That's their box. That's their box. So I could see what was kind of going on and who was responsible for what. And for me, that worked really well. For the business, though, it was an absolute disaster. Separating everyone out in a particular team, dependent on the role that they did and the skills that they had, really didn't work, and it caused us massive operational problems because people stopped communicating. I mean, they just didn't work together. It wasn't cohesive. It wasn't collaborative anymore. It was like, well, that's their job over there. It's not my job, and that's not a great place to be. When you're in a business trying to build collaboration, trying to build community, you don't want people saying that's not my job, or that's his job, it's not my responsibility. I'm not doing that. And of course, what happens is things start falling down the cracks. Those odd phone calls from a customer, those missed callbacks, those missed email updates, that missed service incident, that missed sales call, whatever it is, things start falling down the cracks, and then it becomes really overly burdensome to manage. You start managing through more of a KPI-driven environment, and honestly, it didn't work. So what do? Well, we changed things, we evolved things, we became more amoeba-like. But before I get onto that, eventually this business that we built, we made it really good. We grew it, we did some great stuff, we built a great culture, we doubled it in size, whatever. You've heard all the story before. But then what happened when we built it, it was then sold. And when the business was sold, the business that bought it started to put everyone back in boxes again. And that was the death knell for me, because I started to hear people who were very good team members, very collaborative in their approach, very community led. They believed in the organization. They believed where we were trying to get to. And when I started to hear some of those people saying, that's not my job, I knew it was game over. I knew we had gone backwards so far. I knew that it was going to be such an absolute battle to try and retrospectively refit this amoeba-like concept into a much bigger business that was now forcing us down the route of silos and hierarchy. So, I mean, I've always had this picture in my head about how we kind of did this. And, if I can share my screen now, which I will, we've got this traditional sort of hierarchical structure, like, it's the box thing, isn't it? It's like there's a box here. Oh, hang on, it's not working. There we go. We'll get it working. There we go. I'll pick black. So there's like, this is the box. And typically we have the boss in the box. And then, because he's at the top of the organization, then we have a raft of management and things underneath. So we've got this going on. And then we've got another person in this box. This could be a functional structure. It could be an actual people structure. But you're going to get the message in a minute. And I think this is incredibly antiquated now. I just don't think it works. I don't think it serves the purpose of a modern business at all, because, in these boxes, you have people or divisions. And, if you think about it as I'm drawing this out, look at the gaps between people. Look at the air gaps between people in this business, whether these are people in boxes, individual people, or whether these are teams. It can't be good, can it? So what you have is you have everyone separated. So there's air gaps here between everyone. There's air gaps here. There's air gaps. And then you have these pipes. You have these thin pipes, and these thin pipes, you could arguably say that these are the communication pipes. So the boss communicates down, and it goes down to him or her, and down to them, and down to this person, and down here. If you're lucky, because those pipes, right, are really quite thin, and they're not connected to everybody, and everyone's not going to hear the same message all at once, and they're lucky if they actually hear anything from that top-down approach. And this siloed work and this uncollaborative approach, this it's him, not me, it's their job, not my job, it kind of has no place in the work that we do nowadays. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, hit me up in the comments and let me know what you think. And so we had that, and I like that. My brain likes looking at that. I've got them in that box, those people in that box, that reality is, though, it kind of doesn't work from a practical perspective. And how we evolved and really developed our culture so that we created belief and we created high performance. Yes, there was vision. Yes, there were goals. Yes, it was communicated. Yes, we did all that. We spoke about this yesterday on the live. But the concept that was in my head that we were trying to move towards and I can't say we did it at 100%. I can't say we made the massive shift. But what we kind of did is we moved to this Amoeba-like concept where, if I just get rid of that a second, and I'll just get my colour back on black. In fact, I'll turn it green, because when you think of an amoeba, it's kind of green in colour. So let's think about this amoeba. What does it look like, right? So let's get this amoeba drawn out. So what is an amoeba? It's a single-celled organism, as you learnt in biology. And it kind of looks like that. But imagine if your organisation was a single-celled organisation. It's one thing with one purpose. You might not have a clear purpose as your organisation. That's one of the first things you need. You need a vision as well. Because when you're a single-celled organism, the communication is strong, it's consistent, and you've got all those people, and let's say all those skills all working in tandem at a given point in time to meet the demands of its stakeholders, its customers, the market need, and everything. So imagine in this single-celled organism, you've got people. Let me just get this right. People. You've got skills. You've got beliefs. You've got passion. You've got energy. I can't even write anymore. I don't think energy. I thought I'd use some new technology today. Anyway, you can kind of get the message. And let's say out here you've got market need or market forces, and you've got customer need. You've got stakeholders. And what we do is the whole thing kind of moves towards where it's needed. So instead of it being like a hierarchical box-led thing where, it's not my job, it's not my job. Well, it gets to a level where it's like, well, who's got the skills? We've got this problem, or we've got this market need, or we've got this customer requirement, or whatever it is. It's not like, well, it's a purchasing requirement, so we need to speak to the purchasing team. Yeah, well, we might need to do that. But actually, there might be someone else in the business, in a different team or different department, that's got the exact skill set we need to really flipping delight this customer interaction, or whatever it is, and working in this way, less boxes, less little strands of communication, be more amoeba. It's single-celled organism, massive communication. There's no thin wires of communication. It's constant. The communication is coming out from all the business. It's like the business are working out loud. Yeah, can you imagine that? Like the business is working out loud. These little pipes of communication are not there anymore. No one's in boxes. Sure, people need to know who they report to and who the boss is and what kind of team they're in, which has a general skill set and a general need to perform this particular function. But actually, if we stripped out job titles, if you just took the job titles out of it and created belief, created purpose, created vision, and encourage the whole operation, the whole organization to work as one single-celled organism. Less hierarchy, less boxes, less bureaucracy and red tape, more what is the need? What does this business need? What do our employees need? What does the customer need? What do our stakeholders need? And let's get all those skills, those beliefs, those passions, that energy, those skills, everything all moving towards meeting the needs of that organization's key stakeholders. And I think that's the transition that I'd love to see businesses. Now, if you ask me exactly how to do that from a like a systemized approach, I could probably say to you, I can't achieve that for you. I can't go 100% there because we never got 100% there. We got about 80% there where it was all skills, but maybe 80% was actually the nirvana, because maybe going too far, it won't work. But the concept, absolutely. You know, when I work with my larger customers that have a board of directors, you know, and a big bunch of employees, multi-million-pound revenues and stuff, this is part of the outcome. We stop the silos. We stop the thin pipes of communication. We start working out loud. We start being more inclusive, more collaborative across the organization. We create the purpose. We create the vision. We create the goals. We get everyone involved in that process, and we communicate this. And when you communicate this type of stuff with the whole workforce, with the whole people team, then you start creating belief. You start creating, but when you start creating belief, high performance follows. And that is what I'm a massive advocate for. You know, I absolutely love nothing more than going into a business that's not quite working right, that's overly siloed, that's not got a clear vision, that people just aren't on board with it all. They turn up at 9 o'clock, going at 5 o'clock, job done, satisfactory, I get paid at the end of the month. That's not why we want people to work. We want people to get meaning from their work. We want people to feel part of this amoeba-like structure, don't we? Don't you? Do you not want this for your organization? Well, I would hope so. And it kind of, if you do, then it's worth having a conversation. And if there's anyone out there wants to collaborate and actually bring this structure, this amoeba type thing, totally to life on the back of Success GPS, moving into the cultural sphere, just let me know. I'd love to converse with you about how this could possibly happen. So hope you've enjoyed that live. As I say, I've been wanting to do that for ages, just to highlight the differences in that transition from hierarchical structure to single-celled, sort of amoeba-like structure. And I think we're going to see a lot. I think we're already seeing a lot of that type of structure now in businesses. I think in a modern business that's built without the traditional paradigms, the traditional recipes of building a business, they've built a business to fulfill a need in the marketplace. I think you'll find less hierarchy, more amoeba. And I think those businesses are going to win out over the others over time. So hope you've enjoyed that. Andy Henderson, Sherpa Guidance. It's been great to see you. It's Wednesday. My next live will be Friday. I call it the reflection section because Fridays are a great chance to reflect on the week, the ups, the downs, the successes, the failures and lessons learned, and share that with you all on Friday afternoon. So I'll see you then. Just remember, guys, you're just one step away.